Hello everybody, myself Sneha Bhatia, MPD in Orthopedics and Sports Rehabilitation, in charge principal at Late Srimati S. D. Patel Institute of Physiotherapy. So, in my today's lecture, I will be talking about McKenzie method of assessment for cervical spine. So, before I start with my lecture, I would like to request my audience. According to YouTube Analytics, 69% of my audience have yet not subscribed to my channel. So please subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon to get notified for the next video. So many of us will be experiencing neck pain. Neck pain is very common. In OPD we can see many patients who are having neck pain. So what is the solution for neck pain? There are many types of physiotherapy treatment that is available. We can give traction, we can give exercises, we can give modalities, and there are many other things which we can give to provide pain relief for the patient with neck pain. But the question is, which method of physiotherapy assessment treatment is the most accurate and most effective, so which gives us quick results, because all the patient, we can see that their expectation will be to get pain relief as soon as possible, and they don't even want the recurrence of the neck pain. So what is the solution for neck pain? So McKenzie method for cervical spine, the assessment and the treatment protocol that is given by the Robin McKenzie, that is considered to be highly effective to treat the patient with neck pain. So in this picture we can see that chin retraction has been given to the patient to relieve neck pain. So the McKenzie method is a classification system and a classification based treatment for patients with low back pain as well as neck pain. Acronym for the McKenzie method is Mechanical Diagnosis and Therapy, that is MDT. The McKenzie method was developed in 1981 by Robin McKenzie, a physical therapist from New Zealand. So we can see this form. In this form we can see it is given by the McKenzie Institute of Cervical Spine Assessment. So first we have to mark the date, then write the gender and the name of the patient, then write the address and the telephone number, then write the date of birth and age, refer whether the patient is referred from GP or self or any orthopedician or other person, then you have to mark that. We can see a body diagram which is given on the right hand side of the form. So in case of neck pain, two diagrams are given. One is the anterior, other one is the posterior. So we have to mark whether the pain is anterior or posterior on the neck in the cervical region. Where if it is radiating to the arms, then we have to also mark in the arms. Next we have to write about the work mechanical stresses. So for example, IT professionals, software engineers who are working on computer for long hours, so they will be having continuous mechanical stress over the neck. So in case if your patient is working in a profession which demands continuous sitting and slouch posture, or it demands a heavy workload which increases strain on the neck, then you have to mention that on the mechanical stresses portion. Next is the leisure activity and mechanical stresses. Okay, so if the patient is involved in any kind of leisure activity which puts additional strain on the neck, then that can be written over here. Next is the functional disability from the present episode of the neck pain. So if patient is having neck pain, is there any functional disability, some function if the patient is not able to perform because of the neck pain, then you can mention it there. Next is the functional disability score and the VAS score. VAS scale we have to mark from 0 to 10. 0 means no pain at all, 10 means maximum pain, and 5 means medium pain. Next is the history. In history we have to write about the present symptoms. So present symptoms means what are the current symptoms of the patient. Patient is only having localized pain in the neck, or he is also having radiation, that can be mentioned. Present since how long, so whether the patient is having the current pain since 1 week, 2 week, 1 month, 6 months, that can be mentioned. Whether it is improving, it is unchanging, or it is worse, that should be marked. Next is commences as a result of. So if the patient is having any history of trauma and because of that he is having neck pain, then that can be mentioned. Next is the symptom at onset. So when the pain started first, where was the pain, okay, whether it was in the neck, in the arm, in the forearm, okay, and patient has headache or not. Constant symptoms, if the patient is having constant symptoms, then these constant symptoms are in the neck region, in the forearm region, arm region, or headache is there or not, that can be marked. Next, whether it is worse in standing, sitting, okay, in which position. Patient will be engaged in many kind of activities and many movements, so you have to mark which activity is increasing the patient's pain. And AM to PM progression, that means the pain is more in the morning or pain is more in the night. So when it is worse, which activities are making the pain worse, that can be marked. And next you have to mark when it is better, okay, when the patient is feeling better. Patient is feeling better in standing, in sitting, okay, or in lying, that can be mentioned. So we have to mark it. Again, when it is becoming better also, we have to again mark for the AM to PM progression. That means patient is feeling better during the daytime or during the night time. Next is whether the sleep is disturbed, yes or no, okay. And then we have to mark about the symptoms, okay. Postures, sleeping postures, whether the patient is more spending more time in the supine position, in the prone position, or in the sideline position, whether it is right side or left side, that can be marked. Surface, so patient is sleeping on the mattress, so what is the surface, whether it is soft, hard, okay, that can be marked. Next is the year of the first episode. So it is possible that neck pain the patient may be experiencing since many years, so you have to mark whether the current episode is the first episode, or in the past also patient is having any episode of the neck pain, okay. So that can be mentioned over here. Next is the previous episode. Previous episode means in the past also, if the patient has experienced neck pain and has taken any treatment for that, then that can be marked in the previous episode of neck pain. Previous history and previous treatment. So as I told you already, that if the patient has past history of the neck pain and he has taken any treatment, whether it is physiotherapy treatment or medical treatment, you have to mention it here, because that will give us an idea that what will work for the patient and what will not work for the patient. Because if previously patient had neck pain and he has also taken traction, stabilization exercises, and other physiotherapy treatment he has also taken previously, but he did not find any relief and his symptoms did not subside with those type of physiotherapy treatment, then you should not again waste your time in giving the same kind of physiotherapy treatment, okay. So that is why it is very important to ask the previous history and the previous treatment taken by the patient. So next is we have to ask the specific questions regarding dizziness, nausea, okay, whether the patient is having any kind of dizziness, headache, or nausea feeling is there or not. Then we have to ask the patient if there is any symptom in the upper limb or not. Next is we have to ask medication, okay, and general health. Medication means if the patient is taking any painkiller for the pain, then we have to ask and write it down. Next is imaging. Imaging means whether any X-ray, any MRI has been taken for the patient or not. Next, any major surgery has been done on the patient or not. Weight loss, we have to ask for weight loss, accident and unexplained weight loss. So in certain medical condition there can be unexplained weight loss. So if the patient has unexplained history of unexplained weight loss, then we have to ask the patient. Also we can ask the patient if he had met with any kind of accident. So because of the accident also, for example whiplash injury, okay, when the patient is meeting with car accident and he is having whiplash injury, so post whiplash injury also patient may have cervical pain, neck pain. So we have to ask the patient if there is any history of accident. So next we have to see the posture. In posture we have to see sitting posture. Sitting posture is good, fair or poor. So here for example they have marked poor. So on observation if you find that posture is poor in sitting position, then you can mark it. Then next is in standing posture, whether it is good or not, patient is having wry neck or not, okay, protruded head is present or not. And if you are doing correction of the posture, then whether the patient is having any relief or not, that can be marked. Next is the neurological deficit. So in neurological deficit, we have to see about the motor and sensory deficit, the reflexes and the dural sign. So if the patient is having nerve compression, he is having motor deficit and sensory deficit, then that can be marked over here. Then movement loss is there, then we can mark it. We have to check the flexion, extension, retraction and protrusion movement, lateral flexion to right, lateral flexion to left, and rotation towards the right and left. So all these movements of the cervical spine, whether there is movement loss, okay, pain is there or not, whether there is minimum movement loss, moderate or major or nil, okay. So in the column we have to tick mark. So you can see in this form is a filled one. So whatever was appropriate for the patient, we have done the cross mark for that, okay. So next we have to do the repeated movement examination. So what we have to do in that, we have to first do the repeated protrusion, we have to do, then repeated protrusion. So symptoms during testing, symptoms after testing, and whether it is increasing the range of motion or decreasing the range of motion, or there is no effect at all. So that we have to mark. So now again we have to use the same terminology which is given in this form. The terminology is, so during, while the movement is being done, so during, whether it is producing the pain, it is abolishing the pain, whether it is increasing, decreasing the pain, or there is no effect. And after the movements are completed, so whether it is better, whether it is worse, or there is no change or no effect, so in those words only we have to write it, okay. So there is, we have to do the protrusion movement, then we have to do repeated protrusion movement, we have to do extension, then repeated extension movement, then flexion, extension, both the movements we have to check. Again we have to check for the lateral flexion, that is also called as side bending. So lateral flexion towards right and left, both the side we have to check. Repeated lateral flexion on the right and the left side, both we have to check, okay. So after all this movement examination is done, all the movements you have checked, then you have to go for the static test. So in static test, again you will be checking for protraction, retraction, flexion and extension. So when you ask the patient to maintain that position, whether flexion, then ask the patient to be in flexion position, and whether that is increasing the pain, decreasing the pain, or what effect does it have on the neck pain, that you have to mention there. Next is other test. If you are doing ULTT or any other test, then you can mention it in the other test section, okay. Next is the provisional classification. So after doing all the assessment, you have to mark it as derangement, dysfunction or postural syndrome, okay. So here for example they have given unilateral, asymmetrical, now above elbow with contraction. I am not able to read that line, but whatever your diagnosis is there, you can mention it over here. Next is principle of management. So in that we have to write whether we are using flexion principle or extension principle, okay. And what is the, whether we are giving lateral principle or any other, then we can mention it here, okay. Any mechanical therapy is been given to the patient or not. So after you have diagnosed the patient, you can write about the principle, which principle you are using, that can be mentioned. Next is according to MDT assessment. I already told you, you have to diagnose the patient either into postural syndrome, derangement syndrome and dysfunction syndrome, okay, and then give the appropriate treatment. So this is a study, reliability of the mechanical diagnosis and therapy system in patient with spinal pain, a systematic review. So according to this review, the MDT system appears to have acceptable inter-rater reliability for classifying patients with back pain into main and sub-syndromes when applied by therapists who have completed the credentialing exam, but unacceptable reliability in other therapists. We found conflicting evidence regarding the reliability of the MDT system in patient with neck pain or mixed pain location. So they are trying to say that those therapists who are trained in this method of assessment and diagnosis, they will be in a better position to diagnose the patient using MDT, okay. So please subscribe to my channel and share this channel with your friends. So wear your mask and stay safe. When you go out, please wear mask. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. So please subscribe to my channel and share this channel with your friends. Thank you.